Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for tuning in again for Sunday Morning Yoga. I'm Leah, and as always, I'm just so happy to be here with you all. And thank you to those of you who reach out with feedback or with kind words of support. I really appreciate hearing from you, and I'd love to hear how meaningful this time is for you. So thanks again for tuning in. And with that, go ahead and start to find your way to your yoga space in your apartment. As many of you know by now, you'll want a sturdy chair, a coffee table, or something else kind of similar that can support your weight comfortably is another good option for you. And you want to make sure that you have a firm support for your feet. I'll always suggest being barefoot, as that gives you the best base of support and kind of the best connection with the ground. But socks are also acceptable, or if you feel more comfortable in your shoes, by all means. Just as with your footwear choice, throughout our practice today, I might say something that doesn't really seem like it works for you. And remember that my words, my instructions are just suggestions, and that it's always up to you to tailor the practice to fit your needs and where you're at today. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with the movements that you're doing and that you're always listening to your body and kind of reflecting back on what's going on with you and where you're at today. It could be different from last week or even from yesterday or earlier this morning. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'll offer modifications for most of the movements, the ability to sit down or stand up, or maybe take a more challenging option. And again, you're always welcome to scale those movements up and down, meeting yourself where you're at. Additionally, you always have the opportunity to just sit something out, come back to this seated position where we started, and focus on your breath until a movement comes up that you feel more comfortable with. Make sure you have plenty of space to extend your arms out to the side and in front of you. If your feet don't all the way reach to the ground comfortably, you might want to bring a little footstool or even like a book underneath your feet to bring the ground up to you. Come farther forward in your seat so there's plenty of space between you and the back of your chair. Take your feet down to the ground, just underneath your knees, about hip distance apart. Rest your hands comfortably and start by closing your eyes. Start to notice your breath this morning without judgment, simply noticing the pace of your inhale and exhale, noticing how that feels today. And you might simply observe your breath at the pace it's at, or you might start to deepen your breath, taking a longer, slower inhale, encouraging your breath down into your low belly first. On your exhale, emptying completely, releasing everything out. Start to notice your body. Press your feet down gently into the ground. Moving up, noticing your knees, your legs. Sit a little taller. Draw your waistline back towards your spine. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Grow a little taller through the crown of your head. Always coming back to inhale and exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Bring your arms down by your sides. Again, drop your shoulders down and back and reach actively through your fingertips, sending a little bit of energy down towards the ground. Press your feet down lightly and feel your legs start to engage. You might also feel like your seat is sort of sliding back in the chair, and that's good. Sit up a little taller. On your inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, bring arms down. Again, inhale up. And exhale down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Your breath pace might be a little faster or slower than mine, and that is totally okay. Go at your own breath pace. You can use mine just as a suggestion. Reach your arms up overhead and keep reaching tall. Squeeze biceps in by ears. Reach up a little more through fingertips. And notice that likely your chest came forward Try to balance your chest moving forward with waistline drawing back to spine. Yeah, really strong through the center of your body. Press your feet down for a firm base of support from the ground. And then squeeze biceps in. Reach a little taller. One more inhale. On your exhale, make cactus arms. Now this can be a more passive or a more active movement. The more you squeeze your shoulders in on your spine and peel your chest forward, the more opening you'll get through your shoulders, through your chest. Move wrists back in line over elbows like there's an invisible barrier pressing your arms back. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, back to cactus. Again, squeezing your shoulders in a little more to make this more active, or simply taking this shape with your body. Inhale up. Exhale the cactus. Press your feet down, draw waistline to spine. Nice. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down by sides. Take your hands to rest comfortably on top of your legs. A few rounds of seated cat and cow. On your inhale, chest comes forward, shoulders drop down and back. Lean forward in your seat. On your exhale, round your spine, tuck chin to chest. Lean all the way back. Inhale, move forward. And exhale, round back. Continue on with this motion. And again, you might be faster or slower than me. Move at your own pace. And feel free to add in some of your own movements. Maybe it's kind of rolling or making a figure 8 shape. Maybe one or the other feels really good to you this morning and you want to hang out there for a few breaths. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it. If you find that the back of the chair stops you from getting your full range of motion in cat pose, you can scooch a little farther forward in your seat to allow slightly more space there. Finish out one more round of cat and cow, and then come up through a tall neutral spine, shoulders stacked right over hips. Draw your waistline back to your spine and sit up a little taller. Again, balancing the lift in your chest from strength through your core, waistline drawing back. Arms down by sides. Inhale, sweep arms up overhead. Exhale, make cactus arms. Inhale, arms up. And on your exhale, twist open to the right. So left hand comes forward, right hand opens back. You want to work to open your arms all the way out to a T, but know that they might make more of an L shape. Lift your chest, press both feet down, and maybe even turn your gaze back over your right shoulder. Untwist, inhale, reach up. And exhale, twist to the left. Right hand forward, left hand back. Working to draw your left shoulder back as much as you can, but know that your arms might not quite open into that airplane shape. It might be a little more of an L shape that you create this morning. Press feet down and lift your chest. Inhale, untwist, reach up. Exhale, palms to heart center. We're going to go through that movement 2 more times, but a little more quickly. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Untwist, inhale. Exhale to the left. Untwist, inhale. Palms together, heart center. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the right. Untwist, inhale. Exhale to the left. Untwist, inhale. Palms to heart center, exhale. Hands to knees, big breath in, lift your chest. On your exhale, hinge slightly forward into a forward fold. Now this first fold of the day does not have to be very intense. You might just focus on pressing your feet down, sink hips back, extend out through the crown of your head. You want length in the spine here. If this feels okay, you might begin to walk your hands down, exploring a little more range of motion. Continue to press feet down to the ground. On an inhale, roll upright. Exhale, drop your shoulders. One more time, big breath in, lift your chest. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hip crease, leaning slightly forward. aiming for about shoulders over knees, or you might continue to fold, walking your hands down your legs. Press your feet down, keep knees in line over ankles, and extend out through the crown of your head. Think long spine, hips back. On an inhale, roll all the way upright. Exhale, drop your shoulders, relax. Make sure you line up your feet just underneath your knees. You want this to be kind of a comfortable neutral stance where you can press both feet down firmly to the ground, and then extend your right leg out. Flex and point your foot a few times. Try to curl your toes over and then flare your toes out. Maybe roll your ankle. Release your foot back down to the ground. Press both feet down and notice it's likely that you leaned back a little and rounded through your spine. That's okay, just start to be more aware of it. Shoulders over hips, press both feet down. Left leg extends. Flex and point your foot, working to crunch your toes over and flaring your toes back out. Maybe rolling your ankle. You can try to move in both directions. I definitely have counterclockwise is a lot easier for me than clockwise. And then replace your foot. Again, notice, did I lean back? Sit up a little bit taller. Right leg again, extends. Flex and point your foot. Roll your ankle. And then hook around your shin, hug your knee up to your chest. And just take little movements here. Yeah, exploring your range of motion. As you take these movements with your right leg, you might release your left hand to have a little bit more space to move. Notice your left leg. So keep your knee stacked over your ankle and keep pressing your foot down to the ground so that you're supported from your base. Finish out your last movement and then release your right foot back down to the mat. Press both feet down, sit up tall. Left leg extends. Flex and point your foot, maybe roll your ankle, and then hook your hands around your shin, hug knee up to chest, and just kind of exploring a little bit of motion here. Maybe you take your right hand away so you can do a little bit more movement. Maybe you like your right hand on your leg for that extra support. Keep your right knee stacked over your ankle. Focus on your foot that's pressing to the ground. Finish out your next movement, and then release your foot back down to the ground. Stack shoulders over hips, tall spine, inhale. Press both feet down, exhale, hinge forward from the hip crease. This time, for more of a challenge, you might bring your palms to heart center. Press your feet down even more, slide your hips back, extend out through the crown of your head. Maybe continuing to fold forward. On an inhale, roll upright. Shoulders stack over hips. Exhale, arms by sides. Right leg extends. Without your hands, bend your knee, draw your knee up towards your chest, and release your leg back down. Same thing, left leg extends. Without your hands, draw your knee up towards your chest, and release your foot back down. One more time on each side, right leg extends. Without your hands, draw knee up to your chest, and release back down. Last time, left leg extends. Draw knee to chest. And release back down. Sit up tall, shoulders over hips, especially without your hands. Did you notice that you leaned back quite a bit? Maybe found a little rounding in the spine. Again, no judgment, just being aware of that each time. Checking in and coming back to this neutral position, stacking up really strong through your center. Bend your right knee and squeeze it up towards your chest, and then open your leg out to the side. Continue to stack your shoulders over hips. So beware, did my shoulders turn to the side as well? Or are my shoulders still pointing forward? Did I open up through my leg? Then draw your knee back through center, squeeze up, and cross ankle over knee, make a figure four shape. You might stay right here, supporting with both hands. You might start to let your knee drop away. And if it feels okay, you can take your hands away. Flex your right foot, keep your ankle strong. This is going to ensure that your knee is protected and the stretch comes from your hip. You should feel a stretch in the outside of your right hip, but if you feel pain in your knee, back up a little bit and use your hand for extra support. If this is all feeling good to you and you want a little bit more stretch in your hip, press your left foot down as you hinge forward And again, we're aiming for shoulders in line over knees here. Move shoulders back over hips. Squeeze your knee up to your chest. And release your right foot back down to the ground. Reset in neutral, sitting up nice and tall. And then left leg, draw knee to chest, squeeze in. Open your knee right out to the side. Keep your right knee stacked over your ankle. And notice, are my shoulders and my chest pointing forward, or did they open to the side with my leg? Draw back through the center. You can stay here or cross ankle over knee. Make your figure four shape. Flex your left foot, keep your ankle strong. If it feels okay, you might start to let your knee drop away. You can support with one or both hands, or take those hands away completely. If this all feels good, no pain in the knee, and you want a little more stretch in your hip, press your right foot down and start to lean shoulders in line over your knees. Continue to press down through your right foot, so both legs should be strong and engaged here. Move back up, right? Squeeze your knee up and in. And release your foot down to the ground. Walk your feet out wide. Turn heels in, toes out. And make sure that shins are vertical, so knees right over ankles. Take your hands comfortably to your legs. You want to kind of avoid being right on your knees. Go just above. Lift your chest. Press your feet down. If you'd like to add more stretch, hinge slightly forward. Continue to press your feet down and away from each other. Notice that your knees might want to drop inwards and keep them pressing out in line over your ankles. Hinge upright, shoulders over hips, big breath in, long breath out. Reach your right arm up, bicep by ear, and tilt over to the left. Move your top shoulder back. So there can be a tendency here to sort of lean forward with your shoulder. So you want to open up, staying really tall, stacking up. Come up through center. Right hand down to support on your thigh. Left arm up. Take an inhale. On your exhale, tilt over. Doesn't have to be a big movement here. We're just looking for a nice stretch all the way through the left side. Notice, did your shoulder dip forward? And open it up and back. Come up through center. Left hand down. Right arm up one more time. Inhale. Exhale, tilting over. Keep knees going wide. Feeling that stretch through the inner thighs as well as through your right side. Come up through center. Right hand down. Left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, tilting over. Press your feet down and away from each other. Spin that top shoulder open and back. Inhale up through center. Exhale down. Walk your feet back in to be about hip distance apart. And what you want to do is kick your right foot just slightly forward. Keep a little bit of bend in your knee. You should have your heel of your right foot lined up with about the toes of your left. Flex your foot. Draw your toes all the way up towards you and anchor your heel down to the ground. Then move both shoulders forward at the same time. If you'd like, you can extend your right hand towards your toes. If you like the idea of being able to grab your foot, but just physically it's not quite there, easy modification. Take a t-shirt, a towel, a belt, take it around the bottom of your foot and hold on to both ends. Then press your foot into that strap or that blanket or whatever it is you're using and plug your right shoulder back in. If you can take hold of your toes, you can do the same thing with hand to foot. Squeeze shoulder down and back, press forward through your toes and the ball of your foot. Come back up, right? Replace your right foot underneath your knee and slide that left foot slightly forward. So heel about in line with your right toes. Flex your toes up and back towards you. Sit up tall to begin, and then move both shoulders forward, maybe extending your left arm out, reaching towards your foot. You can use your prop to wrap around your foot and hold on to, and then plug that left shoulder back. If you'd like, and you can hinge far enough forward, you might be able to grab onto your foot as well. Press foot to hand and hand to foot, and continue to plug your left shoulder back. The left and right shoulder are even. On an inhale, hinge upright. On your exhale, replace your foot in line underneath your knee. Full breath in. Open your mouth, big exhale. One more time, full breath in. Long breath out. We're all going to practice a seated version of kind of a warrior one or crescent lunge sort of thing. And then we'll do a standing version, and you're welcome to all practice the seated version the second time around as well. What we're going to do first is scooch over all the way to the left side of your chair, and you might scoot back a little bit farther so that more of your thigh is supported by your seat. You want your left leg to be all the way free on the outside of the chair. Make sure you can press your right foot down. I'm kind of on the shorter side. Most of you know me. And so if you found that scooting back kind of lifts your foot off the ground, this is a great time for that little bit of footstool or just a little bit of lift from like a book can really help you out here. Left leg is free on the outside. What we're going to do is keep this knee bent and just start to walk your foot back so your knee points down towards the ground. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this from a side view. It looks like so. Nice. Now, all you want to do is tuck your tailbone forward, think pelvic thrust. Even though your heel is lifted, energetically press back through your heel. Now you should feel this nice stretch in the front of your leg. You want to feel more stretch? Lift your chest, sit up a little taller. You're like, Leah, I want to feel even more stretch. Walk your foot back just a little bit more. You still are like, Leah, give me the stretch. I really want to feel it. Left arm goes up. Focus on tucking the tail forward so it initiates from your left glute and in the back of your seat, tucking forward, creating strength and stretch in the front of your leg. Use your right hand for support on the chair, however it makes sense for you. If you're reaching up, bring your left arm down. Start to carefully walk that foot back forward again. And then you're going to scooch all the way over onto the right side of your chair. Turn my chair around so that you can see. Scooching all the way to the right. And again, you might slide back on your seat a little bit so that more of your thigh is supported here at the seat of the chair. Right leg is free on the outside. You keep that knee bent and start to walk your foot back. Nice. Ideally, we'll stack up shoulders over hips, over your back knee, and back knee points mostly down. Though your heel is lifted, energetically press back through your heel. Nice. And tuck your tailbone forward. Again, this feels a little bit like a pelvic thrust. Draw waistline back to spine, sit up taller. Press your left foot down to the ground. Nice. Need a little bit more stretch? Grow even taller through your spine. If you still want more stretch, right arm can go up. Continue to focus on squeezing your right glute, tucking your tail forward, and driving your knee directly down toward the ground. Heel energetically presses down and back. One more inhale. Exhale, release that hand down. Walk your right foot forward again. I'm going to show a version of Warrior One that's going to be similar to this standing, or you're welcome to do that exact same thing seated. So if you'd like to stand up, go ahead and come around to the back of your chair. You want to stand just behind your chair so that your hands can comfortably support you as we get into this position. If you're seated, slide all the way over to the left. We're going to do right foot forward, left foot back again. Once you're standing behind your chair, step your right foot as close to the chair as you can go. Bend your knee and step your left foot all the way back. Come into the longest lunge stance that you can comfortably create without your feet sliding away from each other. You can do two options here. You can reach your heel down and press it to the ground, or you can lift your back heel and take a little bend in your back knee. And as you can see, this is really similar to the shape that we just created in the chair. So choose your option, heel lifted or heel reaching down. Tuck your tailbone forward, draw waistline back to your spine. That action of tucking your tail forward, drawing your waistline back, that does the most to create the stretch in the front of your back leg. You're welcome to keep your hands supporting you on the chair or reach one or both arms up. Warrior One. Stack front knee over ankle and keep working to square your hips right up to the chair. Big breath in. Exhale, release your hands down. Carefully step your left foot forward, step your right foot back, and switch sides. If you're still seated, that means sliding all the way over to the right side of your seat, getting your right leg free and pointing that knee down to the ground. If you're standing up, left foot steps forward, bend your knee and take a big step back, finding the longest comfortable stance you can here. Stack front knee over ankle, square your hips to the chair, and again, tuck your tailbone forward, a little bit of pelvic thrust action, draw waistline back to your spine, stack shoulders right over hips. You can press your back heel down to the ground. That's going to add a little more stretch through the back of the leg as well. Or you can keep that heel lifted, keep your knee a little bent if that's more comfortable. Maybe reaching up with one or both hands. Full breath in. Long breath out. Release out. Right foot forward, left foot back. Keep your feet hip distance apart. If you're seated, you can do the same seated forward fold that we've practiced a few times this morning already. If you're standing, step back just a little bit from your chair so you have space here. Take a little bend in your knees and start to make an L shape with your body. So pressing your hips back, bringing your torso closer and closer to the chair here. You're going to create a nice stretch through the hamstrings, the backs of the legs, and the spine as well. If you're standing up, you might find, okay, I've got a little more space, so be careful with your head in the chair. Maybe walking your hands down the chair, increasing your forward fold. Keeping a little bit of bend in your knees will ensure that you're safe as you stretch. Begin to roll back upright. Press your hips forward. Lift your chest. Inhale. Exhale, release out. We'll practice Warrior 2. I'm going to demonstrate Warrior 2 quickly in the chair, but if you're going to choose to stay standing, just hang out for 1 second behind your chair. If you're seated, take your feet out to that wide stance, knees in line over ankles. To move into Warrior 2, you're going to turn your right toes out to the side. You're going to turn your left toes in, and I do that by pivoting my heel outwards and make your left leg mostly straight. You can keep your seat sort of centered, or if it feels like it's going to give you more support, slide back so the entirety of your right thigh is on the chair. Nice. You can use your hands for support or take your arms out to the side. To switch sides from the chair, you'll simply switch legs. Left toes turn out, right toes turn in. And again, you can kind of be forward on the chair using just the edge of the seat, or you can slide over so the entirety of your left thigh is feeling supported by the seat of the chair. This can be a really good option if you just feel kind of uncomfortable in this pose. Maybe arms go out. If you're standing up, as you guessed, it's mostly the same thing. We'll have another chance here on both sides. So if you're seated, go ahead and set up to the right, so with your right knee bent. If you're standing up, you can use the chair for support. I'm going to stand in front of the chair so you can see me better. Take your feet out as wide as they can go without sliding away from each other. Right toes turn out. Keep shoulders stacked over hips and bend your right knee. Reach it forward. Take your knee out so it's more in line with your pinky toe than your big toe, and then scoop your tailbone forward towards the chair. Anchor through the outer edge of your back foot. If you'd like, arms reach out. Drop your shoulders, but lift your chest and extend out through your fingertips. Last step, gaze turns over your right hand. Straighten your right leg. Pivot right toes in, left toes out, and switch sides. Bend your left knee. Knee is more in line over your pinky toe than your big toe, so bend and widen your knee, and then tuck your tailbone forward. This is going to really increase the stretch you feel in your left inner thigh. Anchor through the outer edge of your back foot. Lift your chest. Extend out through fingertips, and if you'd like, turn your gaze over your left hand. Straighten your left leg. Left toes turn in. One more time, right toes turn out. Bend your right knee. If you'd like this time, whether seated or standing, you can reverse your warrior. So take your left hand either to your hip or to rest on your thigh with just a little bit of weight. Flip your right hand and reach up and back. Continue to bend your front knee You can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Bring your torso upright. Right leg straightens. Left side, last time, right toes in. Left toes out. Bend your left knee, warrior two. Stay here, or if you'd like, you can reverse your warrior with hand to hip or lightly resting on your back leg. Flip your front palm and reverse, reach up and down. Continue to bend your front knee, maybe turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. Return back to warrior two. Straighten your left leg, left toes turn in. We're gonna take a wide leg fold here. So if you're seated, stay in your wide stance and simply hinge forward from the hip crease. If you're standing, use the chair as support, feet out nice and wide, little bit of bend in the knees, and you wanna hinge from the hip crease. Press your hips back as you bring your torso down closer to the chair. You might keep this kind of L shape, working on spine being parallel to the floor, or you might find you have space to continue folding forward. As always, be careful with your head, listen to your body. On an inhale, begin to roll back upright. Carefully stacking up shoulders over hips. Big breath in. Long breath out. One more time, big breath in. Long breath out. Heel toe your feet back and underneath you. We're gonna practice warrior three. If you wanna stay seated in the chair, two options for you here. You can practice your airplane arms, squeezing shoulders in and reaching fingertips back, working to lift your wrists. You can also practice that warrior one kind of low lunge shape that I demonstrated at the beginning of this section, where you point one knee down towards the ground. If you'd like to practice standing, this is a balancing pose. So start by just kind of feeling the weight from one foot to the other. Yeah, a little bit of shift side to side, just kind of noticing. Balance is really interesting throughout the day or from one day to the next. Our balance can change significantly, and there's a lot of factors that can impact that. So before you go to balance, you always want to just kind of take that moment to check in with yourself and see where you're at today. Shift the weight over to your right leg. Take a little bit of bend in that right knee, and then slide your left toe straight back. You might stay with your tippy toe on the ground, or you might let that toe get light and lift up. Lift your chest. Stay here or hinge at the hip. So as you lift your heel, your torso lowers. You're working to come to or towards parallel. Tone your inner thighs together. Squeeze in a lot and send energy back all the way through your foot. You can point your foot or you can flex your foot, whichever you find you prefer. You can continue to use your hands for support. You can take one or both arms away. And you can also use the back of the chair to support your chest depending on its height. And that could be a really nice way to go with no hands, but still feel really supported here. Hinge back upright. Step your left foot down and take that movement of shifting side to side again. Yeah, just kind of feeling the weight changing from one foot to the next. Then take the weight over to your left leg, little bend in your knee, right foot slides straight back. You can stay here with your tippy toe on the ground, and you can even start to hinge forward with your tippy toe on the ground, or float your toe up and hinge from the hip crease as you lift your heel, lowering your torso. Keeping that little bit of bend in your standing leg can be incredibly beneficial to your balance here. In this pose, both balance and flexibility are huge factors, and so the bend in the knee can help the flexibility factor be a little bit more doable for more people. Feel free to take one or both hands away, and as I'm demonstrating here, you can see I'm resting my chest right on the chair so that it's really supporting my torso. Hinge back upright, step down, and take that little shift side to side. Tree pose, if you're seated, can look something like this. Just working to take this shape with your leg. Heel comes to your inner thigh, sitting up nice and tall. If you'd like to try it standing up, this is a really, really good one to just practice your balance That's low risk and not as challenging as some of the others. I'm going to stand in front of the chair so you can see me better, but remember, you can always use your hands for support. Bring the weight to your right leg. Bend your left knee, take it out to the side. And you're welcome to keep your tippy toes on the ground and just bring your heel to your ankle. You're welcome to lift up a little higher, bringing your foot to your calf. Or if it's comfortable for you, you might use your left hand to help you place your foot above your knee. You want to avoid your foot pressing directly into your knee. Your knee does not enjoy that type of lateral pressure. Squeeze in the back side of your body. That's going to draw your knee out to the side. And really press your foot and leg in together, building strength here. Stack shoulders over hips, lift your chest. You're welcome to keep your hands on the chair for support. Maybe lift up to just like 3 fingers on each hand, maybe 2 fingers, maybe 1 finger. Maybe you can float that 1 finger away. Remember, you can always touch down and come right back to the pose. Step your left foot down, shift side to side, and then put the weight in your left foot and switch sides. Maybe tippy toes stay on the ground, just your heel coming near your ankle. Maybe you lift up, come to your calf. Or again, you can use your right hand to place your foot above your knee, but you want to make sure if you're going for that option, you do get all the way above your knee so that your knee joint is protected. Press your foot and leg together. Strength is going to lend itself to better balance here. Squeeze in the back side of your body, drawing your knee out to the side and lift your chest. Let your shoulders relax down and back. If you're still using your hands for support, consider picking up just 1 finger at a time. Maybe coming to 3 fingers, maybe 2, maybe 1 finger, and maybe that 1 finger could float up off the chair back for just a moment. Release down, shift side to side. Everybody go ahead and find your way back to your chair. And we're going to take seated eagle pose here. So go ahead and sit down. Start with your feet together or almost together. Feet in line right underneath your knees. Then take your left leg, lift it up and over your right. Now yours might look a little bit more like this. And that is A-okay. For here, we're not really looking for what the visual of the pose is. We're going for the feeling and the intention behind it. So keep right knee stacked over ankle. Work to draw your knees as close together as your knees will go. And then work to squeeze your shins in as close together as your shins will go. If you'd like, you can take your left ankle and tuck it behind your right, kind of foot behind your right ankle. We call this a double wrap. It's not required. Remember, it's less about the visual and more about the feeling. I personally don't like the double wrap. I like to just squeeze my calves in together. If you'd like to add the arms, take left elbow under your right, and maybe take a big hug. If that feels okay, you can press the backs of your hands together, or double wrap your arms and press your palms together. Lift your elbows slightly, sit up a little taller, and then this is going to feel a little strange in this pose, but that same feeling of tailbone tuck. Yeah, tailbone tuck forward, waistline draw to spine. To do that, you'll need to press your right foot down to the ground a lot, like more than you think you need to. Unwrap your arms, unwrap your legs, and come back to neutral with your feet together or almost together. And then right leg lifts up and over your left. Work to squeeze your knees together as close as your knees will go. Then squeeze your calves in together, your shins in as close as your shins will get. You might like that double wrap, tucking your right foot behind your left ankle. You might find that it's not for you, and that's okay. If you'd like to add the arms, right elbow crosses under your left, and then give yourself a big hug. If that feels okay, maybe press backs of hands or palms together. Squeeze your legs in, and find that little bit of lift in your chest, lift your elbows, and then press your left foot down, tuck your tailbone forward, draw waistline back. Yes, finding strength through the center of your body. Squeeze everything into the midline. Unwrap your arms. Unwrap your legs. Take your feet out wide, walking out, knees in line over ankles. We're going to take that same reach that we did from the beginning of the class. So left hand to your leg, right arm up, gentle tilt over. Maybe turning your gaze up underneath your armpit, one of you. Inhale back up through center. Right hand down, left arm up. Exhale and tilt over. Again, maybe turning your gaze up underneath your armpit. Back up through center. Left hand down. Press both feet down. Inhale. Stay here or hinge forward. Press your feet down. Your seat will feel like it's sliding back, and your seat might even feel like it's getting a little bit lighter. If you'd like, you can walk your hands down, maybe reaching all the way to the ground. If your hands do reach the ground, press down through your hands or fingertips. Press down through your feet, feeling the strength all through the backside of your body. Roll back upright. Big breath in. Long breath out. One more time, full inhale. Exhale. Walk your feet back and a little bit closer together. We're going to take one more little twist. You can bring your feet and legs all the way in, or you might keep your feet hip distance apart. For this pose, it doesn't matter too much, so you want to choose what's going to be more comfortable for you. Hinge slightly forward, and either continue to rest with your hands on your leg, or if it's accessible to you, take elbow to each knee and bring your forearms across your legs. Extend your spine. Open your left arm out to the side. This first time, that's it. That's the whole movement. Close your left arm off. And extend your right arm out to the side. Yeah, close that on off. This time, left arm goes out to the side. Maybe start to lift from the back of your hand, lifting your shoulder. Use your right arm pressing down onto your legs to give extra support. You can turn your gaze out to the side, maybe even up towards the crease of the ceiling and wall. And then really stack down. Cross your left arm under again. Extend your right arm out to the side. Begin to lift from the back of your hand, lifting up. Lifting your shoulder, really using your left arm and hand for support. Release back down. If you'd like to take the third and final step here, you will want to bring your legs all the way together. If you want to practice one of those versions we did the first or second time, absolutely stick with it. Take your left arm out to the side. Begin to lift with your left arm. And slide your right arm open, straightening out your arms a little bit more. Your arms don't need to be all the way straight. You don't need to open all the way to a T shape. Just working in that direction, really lifting, expanding across your chest. On an exhale, release back down. Then right arm extends. Begin to lift from the back of your hand, turning your left arm towards straight. Squeeze your legs in together. Notice that your left knee likely wants to jump forward right away. I know mine does. Then exhale, release down. Then roll yourself back upright. Take your feet in a little closer to you. You can keep your feet together or take your feet apart, doesn't matter here. Lift up to the balls of your feet. Lift your heels really high and really press your toes and the balls of your feet down. Hang in there for a few more breaths, lifting those heels, then release. Take a moment of rest. Same thing again, lift your heels really high, flare your toes, press your toes down. Feeling the tops of your legs engage, feeling your calves engage. Release down. Take your feet comfortably. Don't worry too much about your legs for this next movement. Go ahead and bring your palms together. Interlace your fingers to the webbing. Flip your palms away from you and press your arms to or towards straight. Your arms might not get all the way straight. That is okay. Keep that interlace of your fingers nice and tight, and I like to take my thumb tips and press them in together as well. If you'd like, you can start to lift your hands up, moving toward hands overhead. Once you start to lift your hands, there's two options. You can squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, or you might find that you like to relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release out, shake it out on the way down. Exact same thing, one more time, palms to heart center. Interlace your fingers to the webbing. Flip your palms away from you, straighten your arms. And then start to lift your hands, maybe bringing hands all the way up overhead. For me, the pinky side of my hands is apt to come really loose here. So you want to focus on keeping a tight interlace all the way across your palms. Squeeze biceps in and press the heels of your hands either out or up. On an exhale, release out, shake it out on the way down. Take your right hand, extend your arm out in front of you. Spread your fingers, left hand to your fingers, and just kind of draw back. Press forward through your wrist and arm. Draw back on your fingertips. This is just going to provide a nice stretch for your forearm here. I don't include my thumb in this stretch because I find that I get a better stretch this way. I've heard the opposite from others, that they like to include their thumb in the stretch because it's better for them. Release out with your right hand, left arm extends. Make a stop hand, then right hand, fingers to fingers, drawing back. You want your arm to be basically all the way straight here so that you're giving your forearm the full benefit of this stretch. And feel free to try with your thumb loose or with your thumb as part of the stretch, and you can decide which one you like better. Release out. Give both arms a little bit of a break. Then extend both arms out in front of you. Make a fist. Point your knuckles down toward the ground. Yeah, nice stretch from the front of the wrists. Release out, spread your fingers wide, draw your fingers back towards you. And then curl all your fingers down, make a fist, point your knuckles down. One more time, release out, peel your fingers back towards you. Make your fist, point your knuckles down. Release out. Take your right hand to your cheek and support your head falling over towards the right. Just gently reaching your ear down towards your shoulder. If you have any problems with your neck, be really gentle with yourself here. Continue to use your hand for support. And remember that most of the stretch here is going to be created by your left shoulder relaxing. If this feels okay and you want more stretch, take your hand away. Bring your right hand over to the side of your head. Just draw your elbow down gently. You don't want to think weight with your hand. You want to think elbow gently drawing down. Support your head coming back up through center. Left hand to your cheek. Letting your head fall over towards the left. Remember, your right shoulder is actually doing the most to create the stretch here. So let that shoulder drop down, be fully relaxed, creating space on the right side. If you'd like, hand can come away. Left hand can rest over by your ear. You're just focusing on elbow drawing down and in. Don't press with your hand. Just let the weight of your arm do its thing. Come back up through center, support your head. Let your chin drop to your chest, look down. This might be enough stretch for you in and of itself, or you might interlace your hands behind your head, not your neck, your head. And again, don't think press with your hands, think elbows down and in. Just creating a little bit more rounding in your upper spine. Continue to stack shoulders over hips. Release your hands, lift your chin. Okay, for this last stretch for your neck, make sure that your feet are hip distance apart. We're gonna use your knee as a reference point here. So turn your gaze towards your right knee. Take your left hand and hold onto the chair beside or behind you. You might simply just drop your chin towards your chest, kind of facing in that direction. Or if you want more stretch here, right hand to the back of your head, just add a little bit of gentle pressure. Release your right hand, support your head coming back up through center. And then you want to turn your gaze so that you're looking in the direction over your left knee. Right hand comes beside or behind you on the chair. And then tilt your head down in that same plane. If you'd like more stretch here, left hand comes behind your head, not your neck. Just adding a little bit of a gentle press. Release your left hand. Support your head coming back upright. Maybe roll your shoulders out a few times. And then settling in for a little bit of a final meditation here and into our Shavasana. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left in class. So if there's a few final stretches that you would like to take, or if you'd like to do some floor stretches that you're comfortable with in your practice, now is the time for sure. So for your meditation, you can continue to be in your active seat where your spine is separated from the back of the chair, or you might be more comfortable with support on your spine. You might be more comfortable in a different seat in your apartment. So choose what works for you. I'm going to come a little closer here. Take your feet to rest comfortably. Hands can rest comfortably on your legs or in your lap. Allow your chin to drop halfway to your chest. You're welcome to just gaze softly at the ground or close your eyes. Starting to let everything else drop away and focusing on just the breath. Your breath can be at any pace you like, but focus on a full, complete inhale. And on your exhale, empty out every last bit of air. Once you've found your full inhale and exhale, begin to count silently to yourself. It can be any number of counts, just kind of counting how long does my inhale take, how long does my exhale take. Chances are your exhale takes a little longer. So start to speed up your exhale, pressing out your air a little more quickly until inhale and exhale take the same number of counts. It might be 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, whatever works for you. At the end of your next exhale, start to allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. A little bit more shallow on inhale and exhale. And begin to make your way into your final resting position for Shavasana. So you might lay down in a supine position. You might find a really comfy spot that you like. You might simply slide back in your chair. Allow your spine to be supported. Maybe take your feet wide, let your toes fall open. Rest your hands comfortably in for Shavasana. I always like to turn palms up. Let your fingertips curl in. Allow your eyes to close and start to relax your face, your jaw, space behind your eyes. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Feel your shoulders get a little heavier. Allow your breath to breathe itself and just to be here for the next few minutes. Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. Take gentle movements to fingers and toes. If you'd like, you can send your arms overhead. Take one final stretch. If you're laying down, make your way back up to a seated position. And if you're sitting in your chair, come a little farther forward again, that slightly more active seat. Bring palms together at heart center. And we'll close practice with the sound Om one time. You're welcome to sing along or listen. Release your air. Full breath in. Thumbs to forehead center. With gratitude for this practice. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining in this morning. Such a pleasure to be able to share this practice with you, even if it is virtually. Again, thank you for your support, your feedback, your comments. I'm always happy to hear them. So if you have any sort of feedback for us, please reach out to me or to Missy in Community Life. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much, everyone.